It's Kaleidoscope's annual drag dance. It's a way, I think, for us to educate the community about drag and about LGBT issues in general. I think it's a valuable asset to our campus community, and I think that it brings about a lot of issues and topics that we wouldn't normally have a chance or venue to speak of.
I was around for something we called the Glamour Party. It was just a party literally in a dorm room. People were hanging out, and we just decided it needed to be fabulous. So everybody got really dressed up. We made a catwalk in the dorm room. The women pretty much dressed up in elegant gowns, and so did the men. It was just a party, and we weren't really trying to build anything or create any kind of movements. Well, there weren't a lot of out gay people in my year at Kalamazoo College at the time.
The group then was the GLBSG, the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual Student Group. I think we just wanted to have an event, and because we didn't really have anything that we did besides coming out day, but it wasn't a big thing. There weren't a ton of people there. The idea was just to have a fun party where you could dress how you wanted to. It was mostly more the gay community at that first one.
It was a gay dance.
It was
a
definitely
little bit
like
a queer prom, but it was definitely meant to be a gay dance.
Yeah. Part of it was about visibility. And it's not that we felt actively discriminated against, but you knew that there were people on campus that were not very supportive of just who we were as people.
I mean, the climate at the time was really different, and, you know, discriminating against gay and lesbian people was the norm. There were a lot of people that, a lot of backlash against, like, gay pride. We went to school with a lot of, like, really intelligent, sensitive, bright, cool people, and
sheltered.
A lot of them were pretty sheltered at the time,
Yeah.
and really hadn't been exposed to people that were from different backgrounds or had different identities than them. It was just a different time, and so I think having a party where you could celebrate and be yourself and to cross boundaries and to try dressing a different way, it was just about having a really good time and having an environment where the dominant culture was weird and queer and,
Yeah.
you know, dressing differently. And
I mean, the point is that it's a drag dance. The point is that people dress in drag and think about drag and think about what they're wearing. I think just what is drag is a big question for people on this campus, which makes sense because it's not something that everybody interacts with.
I guess I would define drag as like an exaggeration, like a deliberate exaggeration of stereotypical gender roles.
Drag for me is really just a reflection on gender and a reflection on your gender expression. It's a personality, it's a persona, it's something that you find in yourself, and it's about entertainment and it's about having fun.
Drag is an art form, political, subversive, performative art form.
Drag started mainly in New York.
It really was pivotal for our communities of color, especially Puerto Ricans and blacks in New York and other urban centers. Not only like were they mimicking and exaggerating gendered and sex stereotypes, but they were exaggerating race. Like they were trying to mimic the bourgeois, white, supremacist elite that ran the city.
It's pride in who you are and in what you conceive of yourself. You just like demand that people look at you and you demand that people think about what they're seeing. I find drag really inspiring in a lot of ways, and that people that can do it and are comfortable with it and confident in it are people that I generally look up to.
Yay. I love sharp things.
Oh, I love it when they break.
That sucks. Do we, okay.
Well, that's that then. Glad that's the last thing we needed to cut.
That's my take on like the campus's view towards it. I guess it's just another event that's part of the culture of K College. It's just a party. I don't think people appreciate the bigger meaning of drag as this political act or performance through which we can challenge or play up or just kind of fuck with gender and sex.
Guys are able to dress in drag, but girls have to dress hypersexualized, feminized.
Crystal, in parentheses, dress like a slut ball.
Guys dress like girls, girls dress like sluts.
Guys dress like girls dress like sluts.
Guys dress like girls, girls dress like sluts.
It bothers me because I'm putting in time to put on this event and people are completely overlooking my intentions. But it also bothers me as a woman because I say, why do women feel the need to express their gender this way and just sexualize themselves in a context where they don't need to? Why do women feel like they have to dress in little skimpy lingerie to feel sexy. Why can't you feel sexy in something else?
And that goes back to male privilege and sexism. Like, women are stuck, like, either like in this role or they're kind of doing drag and it's not taken seriously. It's like, oh, they're trying, but whatever, you're still a woman.
When people think of drag culture, they think mostly of drag queens rather than drag kings, although they exist.
It's always been men imitating women. Like, I haven't seen many drag kings. It's a male privilege that I get to like cross all these boundaries and that I have this art form available to me. It's much easier for a man to put on makeup and come off as a drag queen than it is for a woman. The other alternative is to just like wear a bunch of lingerie, and I want to say like, that's fine, like dress however the hell you want to dress, but at the same time, like, we need to be responsible and like think about the stereotypes we're reproducing and how, especially like dressing like a slut in lingerie is part of this like whole system that kills women and rapes women, and it's just really bad.
Misinterpretations with what drag means is problematic for people of the LGBT community in general to feel comfortable and to really feel like they're included on this campus. Because a misconception of drag or a misinterpretation can lead really easily in an ignorant way to like just hurtful behavior.
I see a lot of times like a lot of straight dudes like putting on just like a dress and then pretending to be gay. And that always pisses me off because it's like, there's this one guy that was so hot and he was like in drag and like pretending to be gay, but he was like making a mockery of it. And so it's kind of like throwing me for a loop. Like, I wanted to like go up and like flirt and dance with this guy, but at the same time, he's just like making a big joke out of it. And like, that's his straight privilege that he gets to like mock being gay. So I think that's a huge like recurring problem that I see at Crystal Ball is like people confusing like drag with mocking like the stereotypical like prissy like queenie gay boy.
People think of Crystal Ball and their outfit as a costume, and that's a weird word for me because that's like, yes, you are displaying something that isn't entirely you, which sounds costumey, but the people who actually do drag would say it's more of an outfit, would say it's part of their personality. A costume just sounds really trivial to me in a way that makes me think people aren't actually thinking about what they're doing. So I think doing drag can be problematic if you don't understand it, and if you're doing it in a way that is then hurtful to other people just because you don't want to take the time to get it. And it's a process to like really rearrange the whole campus's ideas of the event. And I think it's getting there. And I think Crystal Ball Week is a way to do that. Crystal Ball Week was a result of wanting Crystal Ball to be an event more than just a dance, and wanting people to understand what Crystal Ball itself, the event, was trying to do, but also recognizing that the event is a dance. I think it was a way to reach out to the campus community and have education about drag and those issues, and I hope something that we continue to do in the future. I had someone tell me that making it a week really did make the event become like a celebration and made the event have more of a purpose and was more understood in the context of the information they had received during the week, or just the fact that the week existed in general.
From my roommate, who obviously is not like a large sample group, but she was going to dress in sort of a slutty fashion, and I was like, please, please, wear drag. She ended up going in drag. She told me afterwards that she was really glad that she had gone in drag because she would have felt really uncomfortable. From her perspective, I guess the people who were dressed slutty, they stood out a lot more, which I kind of noticed too. Like, there may have been a decent number of them, but it was still like, why are you here? Mm-hmm. You're really obviously not dressed like you're supposed to be.
I mean, like, I think there's some people that we're just not gonna break through to, and you kind of have to expect that, but out of 1,000 people, I feel like drag was the norm.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
I guess I've learned that in spite of there being like all these pervasive systemic problems, there are still people that can come together and have a good emancipatory radical time.
I think I've learned more just even about my gender identity and my gender expression. I didn't decide to wear a dress this year to Crystal Ball until the day before. And I knew that I needed to. I did afterwards. But at the same time, I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna feel so weird. I'm gonna feel so like uncomfortable.
Like a lot of times when I'm walking across the quad or on campus, like I'm clearly pretty gay, like the way I dress and carry myself. I always get a little bit uncomfortable, like when I come across, you know, like a group of like clearly straight, white, alpha male dudes on campus. I feel judged. Whereas at Crystal Ball, like, even though the majority of people probably aren't there for the same reason as I am, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and like, I don't feel judged that night when I'm in drag, and like, it's a deliberately like queer space to fuck shit up.
Yes, you can have fun, but you don't have to be wasted to have fun.
At Crystal Ball, like, I didn't have to get fucked up to have like a seriously fun time. Like, I was able to dance and like do all these things that I previously could only do when I was drunk or high. But I was able to do them at Crystal Ball because I felt like I had taken on this alternative persona in drag, and that was me, and like, it was just like this total masquerading of who Hussein was. Crystal Ball, like, it opened my eyes. Like, I remember my first Crystal Ball, like, I had such a good time. And I think for me, I attribute that to like the experience of like getting in what I think is the best drag I can do. And yeah, it was liberatory for me in that way.
And so to do drag, like I did for Crystal Ball, and then have people compliment me and say I looked really good, I mean, it feels really good. And I think to feel confident in yourself, dressed in a way that you don't feel comfortable, is really kind of inspiring and can kind of make you feel more confident as a person as a whole. We just as an organization want to push the drag part of it because that's the point of it for us, and it's not just about having fun and partying. Like, yeah, that is fun, but it's not what we're trying to do, and it's not as fruitful as if you think about it before you do it.
One of my friends who did take it seriously, like one of my women friends came, he was talking about like, I can't believe how hard it is like for women to like get ready to go out at night. Like, this takes a long time. And then for my woman friend to like see that, she was like, that was awesome to hear a guy say that. She had never heard that before. And in that little moment, like, I think Crystal Ball achieved what it was supposed to achieve.
And so I think we asked the campus to dress in drag to make them think about perhaps things that they don't think about on a daily basis, opposed to members of the LGBT community who do. And just like putting yourself in those shoes or heels or whatever have you, and really trying to understand a different facet of our culture and of our campus community that some people just completely overlook, because it happens here and it happens everywhere.
Just wait till all the guys get